Hello, everybody. I'm Kristen.
And I'm Will.
And this is So I'm Watching Daredevil Born Again, Season 1, Episode 9. Was it Isle of Joy?
Episode 8.
Episode 8. My bad.
Isle of Joy.
Isle of Joy. Okay, where do we want to start?
At the beginning, I suppose.
What was that?
Yeah, I never remember. Well, Matt and Heather's relationship is fracturing for the reasons we both thought. You who would have guessed.
I've been high-fiving a million angels all weekend.
Yep, you've been doing it.
Yeah, so basically, because she's talking shit about Daredevil now, lumping him in with Muse.
Such a weird take.
And then he is being distant and not talking to her and literally trailing off in the middle of conversations they're having in the middle of a gala, to which she wore a white dress, which you owe me $5.
I don't owe you nothing. Well, he also started getting pissy because
Poindexter.
Kingpin's valet.
Oh,
brought an invitation to the gala to Heather to
Matt's apartment. Yeah,
and Matt knows who that guy is and realizes that she's been consorting with
Fisk. Yeah, because that's right. You were like, he's gonna find out that she's,
and now he's mad about it,
giving them therapy. Yeah. And I mean,
he's not. What's his reasons for being
are
mad at her were not expressly said. It's more like he knows that Fisk is a bad man.
Sure. So yes, so his reasons for being mad at her are not correct, but his reasons for being like, this is a supremely bad idea are correct.
Yeah.
And she's just like, whatever, Matt, he's the mayor. And I'm like,
he's the mayor.
Because the thing is, we've talked about it, it's like we are, and we actually do get more confirmation in this episode, we are using the original show. Yeah. All of that seems to be canon.
Mm-hmm.
Like, not just the Poindexter stuff, and like not just this stuff, but it's like we have a scene in this episode in which BB acknowledges that Fisk was the main suspect in Ben's murder.
Mm-hmm.
So we are using all of that, and I do appreciate that. I wish it hadn't taken 8 episodes, but I did like it. Yeah.
I mean, I think I said on episode 1 or 2 that it would feel weird if that association wasn't there.
Yeah, I agree. But yeah, so that's the thing for me with Heather is I'm like, if all of that is true, if we're taking everything from the original, he's been to prison.
Mm-hmm.
He's a bat, and she's just like, well, he's the mayor. And I'm like, I don't understand where your line is, lady. Because if it's just like vigilantes are bad, but this criminal who's basically bought the mayoral seat is fine, then I'm not sure I like Heather anyway.
Her lumping Daredevil and Muse together was a
super weird
take. It felt very odd to me. They continue to try to make Kirsten a character.
I think to okay effect in this episode, but again, she just is kind of like, Matt, what are you doing?
Every time she's on screen.
And she's
just explaining why Matt is bad at his job.
Yeah.
And then being mad at him about it.
Yeah.
And then he storms out.
Well, the thing is Matt is actually like a pretty good lawyer. The issue is he can't let go of his personal shit in order to do any lawyering. And one thing that annoys me about this episode, which I did in general really enjoy, I thought it was a pretty good episode. But my issue is there were like 3 or 4 different sentences in this episode where they're like, I've got to get in. Madison called an emergency meeting. And I was like, who the fuck is Madison? You guys own your own firm. I kept thinking it was like a boss. And it was just like a dickhole client who was apparently stealing money from teachers.
There is one Madison it should have been.
Who?
Could you state your name for the record?
Madison King. Madison is with 2 N's, 1 Y, but it's not where you think.
Oh,
not where you think.
Yes. It was Madison.
Yeah.
Because with 2 N's and a Y, but it's not where you think.
But not where you think. And then the guy scratches up. I thought that it was like Madison called a meeting, like someone at the firm called a meeting.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, it was the client.
Yeah.
Madison. And yeah, I didn't really understand the point of that scene.
No, it was really stupid. It's just, and because the thing is Matt is being bad at his job and he's doing all of this and he's calling that client out for lying about stealing the money from the teachers because somebody put Poindexter in Gen Pop. like in order to have him killed, basically.
Well, we know it was Fisk. She says it was Fisk to him.
It was Vanessa.
Well,
oh, Fisk put him in Gen Pop. You're saying, but Vanessa, that what we get at the end is that Vanessa orchestrated the Poindexter thing that opened the season.
Well, maybe she's denied it before Poindexter took a shot at Fisk.
Yeah, and Vanessa's not a seasoned liar.
No, I'm just saying.
So we also get a scene at Josie's, which we have. I don't think we've seen her since the first episode. I guess she's been closed for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Fisk is giving buyouts around town, and she's refusing to take money from him, but she's thinking about opening back up. Cherry finds Matt there, and they get the bottle of old Mulvanese?
Melvanese.
Yeah, something like that.
I don't know. It sounds like fucking really cheap shit.
It's not, is the thing. The whole point of it is that it's their fancy whiskey.
Yeah, but they're like a shitty bar. It could be like an ironic thing.
Foggy and Matt bought the bottle so that every time they went there when they won a case, they would have some. They explained it early in the season. It's a nice bottle of whiskey. That's why they only do it when they win cases. They're drinking crap.
I understand the concept of what you're saying to me, the celebratory concept. I'm just saying it sounds fucking cheap.
It sounds kind of cheap. It sounds cheap. It's not cheap, is my point.
It's fictional.
But fictionally, it's expensive.
Fictionally, it's meaningful to them.
Sure. Whatever. The point is that Josie says something about Foggy having ordered it that night. And he realizes that the case that Foggy got the call about and went outside was he was celebrating early. He like knew he was gonna win, and someone had him silenced, and so he's like trying to figure out how that's all connected. Poindexter got sent to Gen Pop, which we're pretty sure was Fisk.
Yep.
Yeah.
They were
in order to get him killed, basically.
The fact that Fisk moved him or had him moved to Gen Pop found its way to Kirsten.
Yeah.
So, like that fact, unless Vanessa is operating at a very like underneath level, which she could be, then it was Fisk.
Yeah. He basically also asks for a meeting with Matt, and Matt goes out there. They have a really useless conversation, and then we were discussing it while we were watching. I can't decide if Matt did it deliberately in a way that would have facilitated Poindexter's escape, but he smashed his head really hard 3 times into the table and then left. And so basically when Poindexter was getting fixed up by the prison surgeon, he had a tooth come out and he did the same
spit it straight into a guy's eye.
Did the same physics that Matt did last week with the thingy, and it totally incapacitated the guard with his own tooth spitting from his mouth, like, I don't know, 1.5 feet away.
Yeah.
Which was honestly awesome, but
that was fine.
Unlikely. And then he was able to get out of his restraints, and he grabbed the scissors and knocked him in half, and then he bullseyed them into the guys, and he escaped dressed like a guard.
So they did their work, I guess, obfuscating him in such a way that maybe my point will be moot. But he is like a high profile guy in one ward of a prison. Yeah. I know that there's a lot of people that it takes a lot of people to make a prison work.
Yeah.
And you may not know every single person that you're working with all the time. But he was getting on a bus with a bunch of prisoners that were
guards. I think they were all guards. They were all wearing the same thing as him.
Were they?
Yeah, I think it was guards.
I thought it was him and one other guard, and it was like like the bus on The Fugitive, where there was people transporting.
I was actively having an anxiety attack before and during watching this episode. So
I just was like, no one recognizes that this is not someone they know, and also probably their most high profile guy. I mean, it's Rikers in New York, in like super New York, so maybe he's not very high on the totem pole.
Yeah, but I mean, I think he is powered in some way.
Yeah,
and in addition, not to editorialize, but Wilson Bethel is he's serving a face card. Like he looks the way he does.
Yeah.
I would
He's
be
got a
like,
scar.
I would be like, hey man, he did have the hat and it was like pulled down.
Yeah, and it was night and kind of rainy, I
Yeah.
think, if I remember right.
So like I get it, but also I'm just like, you can't hide that face card. That
Yeah.
guy is so hot. But he does. He gets away. He makes it away. It's whatever. Well, Fisk and Vanessa, the port revitalization project is going forward,
Mhm.
and so Fisk takes Vanessa down there, and he's like, "I want to show you something," and he like takes her to this abandoned.
It's like he's here.
I'm saying, and so he takes her to this like abandoned building, which is apparently the building where he's been keeping Adam.
Mhm.
Adam, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, and then. Which is also so funny because so it's like near the port, it's an abandoned building, and he's also keeping his most priceless piece of art down there.
Mhm.
The rabbit in a snowstorm.
Yeah, it's like secret.
Crazy. So he takes her down there, shows her that he's got Adam. Adam is alive.
I told you, he just knocked him out.
He hit him so many times with like an implement, didn't he? He had a weapon. It was just his fists.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fisks.
Fists.
No, I did it backwards.
Yeah.
Fists.
Yeah. And he is remarkably healed. So I don't know how much time has passed.
Definitely some time has passed.
He was like not even black and blue
Yeah.
or anything. And he's begging for his life. Like he'll just leave. He won't tell anything or whatever. And Fisk is very, if I can't have you, no one will have anyone. It's not even like no one will. It's like everyone will be alone.
So he didn't say those exact words. The way
was
I
the
heard
gist.
it, the way because that implies that he would hurt her, and I don't believe that.
No.
It was more of like a I can't exist without you kind of thing,
Right.
and this is in the way of that.
Sure, that's right. My point was just like, if I can't be with you, then no one can be with anyone, like in the world. Like then everyone will be single. That's how
Sure.
was just like, I can't handle anything without you. And so then it's just like kind of gross and just so much begging from Adam until Vanessa shoots him like 3 times and then once straight to the dome.
Yeah, she knew how to use that gun.
She really did it. Yeah, so they're good now. No more therapy necessary.
Everything's great, I guess.
And then they're having this black and white ball.
I don't know that I like the most interesting thing to me about the season was Fisk and Vanessa's like
being at odds.
tension.
Yeah.
And now that it is apparently gone, I don't know.
Yeah.
Because Matt is not the most exciting part of this show to me.
Well, and to be honest, what I said earlier, where we talked about and we can't really decide, like, did Matt, beat Poindexter in a very specific way on purpose so he'd be able to escape? But then at the end, that's just right out the window because he jumps in front of the bullet that's meant for Fisk and Matt takes the bullet.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, so you can't have done the only interesting thing you've done in 4 seasons of television.
Yeah.
Which is just really annoying.
Yeah, we're like justifying something that like might not have happened. We don't know that Matt did that on purpose, and
we do know that he definitely jumped in front of the bullet on purpose.
Well, yeah, we know he beat up Poindexter on purpose.
Yeah,
like he actively did that, and
but we don't know if it was for Poindexter.
Exactly. But I mean, even like the tooth thing is so specific, but like just giving him the opportunity to like putting him in another position. That could be perfectly feasible. And then in my mind, like that's not the shot. I guess, he didn't figure out that it was Vanessa until he was at the gala. He like put it together while he was talking to Heather there.
Yeah.
Like while they were dancing.
Yeah.
And that's when he sort of bumped into Fisk and Vanessa as they were dancing and then cut in and threatened her or whatever.
Yeah.
Or told her that he wasn't like, I'll kick your ass.
Yeah.
He was like, I know that you did this thing. And she was very like,
what? Who, me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I'm on your team,
There's a lot of questions about it.
Yeah. We did obviously, though, get the confirmation in this episode that Fisk and Vanessa set up Luca together. Last week's episode was a joint effort. Or at least they're playing it off. Like Vanessa's playing it off
Vanessa,
like it was.
Yeah, Vanessa could be playing it off. They did not.
That would feel very, very lampshaded. Like to the point of being bad writing.
Yeah,
if there's a turn at this point.
There was no like Like when Vanessa was like, "Oh yeah, he had to go."
Yeah.
There was no like kind of furtive look to
Sure.
the side or anything like that. That like only we saw as
Right.
an audience member. You know.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like it was set up to be that way.
I agree. And so then we did get a scene with, is it Powell? I keep forgetting his name because
Powell, yeah.
I hate him.
Ugh.
I hate his dumb face.
Sick of this.
And this
Sick of them.
one, Cole North, he's one of them as well. He's the black one.
Oh sure, yeah.
They both were there working security at this black and white gala.
Well, they all were there.
Well, yeah, but they're the two that have names.
Yeah,
so.
But the task force was the security team that was there.
So there was some waiter, a cater waiter, that had a phone and was taking pictures of
a reporter who had snuck in.
He was a reporter,
mm-hmm.
Dressed like a cater waiter then, and he was taking photos.
That was my assumption, I suppose.
You're probably right.
But like someone was trying to get photos of Fisk.
Yeah,
at that
and
night.
all the people he was meeting in the room. One of them being the guy from Hawkeye, who was Haley Steinfeld's Kate's
almost
stepdad or whatever, who is Swordmaster, whatever he called Swordsman, whatever he called him, and that was really interesting. I kind of liked that. So basically,
I didn't remember that he was a thing
until you said it.
No, I did. I remembered that episode because they showed at the very beginning, like some of the clips from BB's thing, and they showed a guy, a vigilante with like an EP, a sword.
Oh, sure.
And I was like, hold on a second, wasn't that guy something? And I looked it up, and at least in the comics, he is. And I think I looked it up when we were watching Hawkeye, and I was like, oh, he is something. And I don't think he was actively in that show.
No.
But now.
But he did he had all the weapons. He had like a weapons collection.
Yeah. He was set up to be that, but it never like crossed the line.
Right.
We never saw him in a mask. We never saw him doing any story.
So
I think he did. Maybe he did do some fighting. Hawkeye.
Yeah, because he had his Ronin suit back, so he fought him with swords. So I liked that because Fisk was basically taking people in and out of like a back room, and he threatened that guy.
Well, he warned that guy.
Whatever.
It's his language.
So he like keeps bringing people back, and I feel like a mixture of like for money and for threats. And so the reporter was taking pictures of that, and then Fisk saw, because he left his flash on. Rookie move. Also, it wasn't even dark enough.
It was kind of a dumb.
Yeah.
It was like, hey, we need something to happen.
Yeah.
Do we? Yeah.
Do we need it? I mean, we kind of do in order for the commissioner thing to happen, but basically, Powell and another guy
I don't know. I think that whole thing lifts right out. We already know the commissioner is not cool with any of this stuff.
Well, but I liked the commissioner conversation with BB.
No, I know, but that didn't need to be facilitated by the stuff that happened with Powell.
That's fair. But anyway, they take the reporter back into the kitchen, and they deep fry his hand.
Yeah.
Disgusting.
Yeah.
Also, now I just like hope that guy was a lefty.
He did specifically say you're going to have a hard time wiping your ass for the rest of your life.
Sucks for you, pal. Maybe he's a southpaw. Anyway, ridiculous.
It makes me mad that we're stuck with a superhero on the show that doesn't want to kill people because I just want him to die. I mean, we have one in the wings that we've refused to use for more than 5 minutes, but
Frank.
Yeah.
I
mean, I guess he's not powered or special or anything.
He's not powered, but boy howdy, will he shoot the fuck out of you.
He will definitely do that. Jesus.
So
he will spray you all night.
Yikes. So anyway, Powell witnesses them doing that, and he's like, I will, censure you or whatever. And Powell was like, you're not going to do shit, Commissioner. And his stupid...
The Commissioner witnessed them doing that.
Yeah, what did I say?
Powell. You said Powell twice.
Oh, my bad. The Commissioner witnessed Powell doing that. And he was like, this whole task force is dereliction of duty, blah, 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 whatever. And Powell is like, we don't work for you, we work for Fisk. Kind of like that. He didn't actually say that, but it was the vibe.
You can derelict my balls. He said.
You derelict my balls.
Yeah.
And so the Commissioner's leaving, and BB goes to talk to him, and that's when we find out that the stuff with Ben did carry over. She's fully aware of it. She is playing the long game.
Mm-hmm.
She's in there, and she's like made up with Daniel. They're like, she's saying what she needs to say about Fisk, but she does not only publish under her own name. So if there's anything the Commissioner wants to get out, there's an email address. You can send it, and he has files on every single cop in the task force. I loved that. I love that she got Ben's spirit and sense of right and wrong. Again, I wish it hadn't waited 8 episodes.
Taken a long time to get there.
Yeah.
I also think it's worth noting, we don't need to like dig into it or anything, but she definitely refers to Daniel as work.
Yeah.
She's like having that conversation with the commissioner,
Mhm.
and they start playing, play that funky music, White
Yeah.
Boy or whatever. And she's like, hey, I got to get back to work. And
Yep.
she's just going back over to
Very
Daniel.
funny.
It was funny. It was just
Yeah.
like, they didn't make anything of it. They didn't play it for humor, but
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, man, you're like, when you said they made up, I was like, she was not going to let that, she
relationship
would
die.
have
Yeah.
recultivated that relationship if she needed to. Which
He's
she
also
does.
now the deputy mayor
Deputy mayor of
communications, whatever. It wasn't like super threatening, but the way he talked to Sheila at the party
Mhm.
was a little charged, I guess I'll say.
Mhm.
Because she was like, it's not that I don't think you should get it, I think it's premature. And he basically said something about how like he was having like a lot of doubts or something, but like he's not anymore. And I was just like,
he said specifically about like his relationship with her, like how if
they would
doubted
work
how they
together.
would work well
Yeah.
together.
And I was like,
So there was like, it's definitely
yeah.
like a multiple ways to take it kind
Yeah.
of thing. And she did not like recoil in like a gross way or anything.
But we did hang on her for a minute.
We hung
kind of,
on
like,
her,
thinking about
but
it.
she maybe like was questioning it. And also he
Yeah.
I don't think he delivered it with like malice. Maybe that was the
Not
point.
a ton of malice, but yeah.
Well, it can be, because it can be taken in a way that
Yeah.
is like kind of threatening.
Maybe I just have a bias because I know he's
condescending, I
Tony
guess.
Soprano's son.
That's probably part of it.
Yeah, maybe
and
I'm just
they
like-
have been playing him as like kind of a douche.
Yeah.
And like now that he has been given some kind of like some
Power.
modicum of power, he's
Yeah.
like ready to wield it already. Is a little spooky, but
I think that's mostly it. Did you have something else? No Frank, no Karen.
yeah, of course.
We got a Karen name drop, but
Yeah.
that's it.
Yeah, no
Yeah.
Frank. Okay.
And only a little bit of Cherry. This episode wasn't like when I said last week when I was like, what are the last 2 episodes going to be about? The cops? And it wasn't like totally about the cops, which was nice. Like we did some other stuff. And I'm glad we got Poindexter back in because that's really like helpful.
Mhm.
He obviously does make it to the gala. We talked about it. He's up on like a mezzanine kind of thing. And he just got in there with a whole ass sniper rifle and everything. And
the sniper rifle was the guards.
It was the guards.
Mhm.
Okay.
He killed that guard with the fucking huge fork that he took off of said fryer leader.
Correct. That's right. So
You could see his body like just
Yeah.
with like the fork sticking out of it.
Okay. So
Just
the
dirtying
sniper
Kramer.
rifle was already on site,
Yeah.
but he did get all the way in
Yeah,
there.
he got in. I assume the cop uniform also
Yeah.
just got him in there. But
So he also, I think I told you, but he was an FBI agent. So it's like
did tell me that.
he does have like skills.
They have not
Yeah.
bothered to remind us of that at all, which is a little bit of a downer. He feels.
They did say in this episode, actually, when they put him in Gen Pop, they called him Agent Poindexter.
Oh, they did.
They
yeah.
did, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he got up there. And Matt hears it before it's about to happen, and then he
Actively
jumps in front of the bullet meant for Fisk, and I'm just like,
like why?
you also want him dead.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I physically don't understand. It would be like a time traveler going back in time to kill baby Hitler, and then another time traveler is also there to kill baby Hitler, and you jump in, and the first time traveler jumps in front of baby Hitler, so the other time traveler can't do it. Like, what the fuck? You know what I mean?
You spun a yarn.
I'm just saying, it's so bonkers. Like, I don't understand why
it was
you
a
would do
weird
that.
It was a weird choice without having any context.
Yeah.
Because like why wouldn't, like I said, like we're left to ponder like quite a lot of points
Yeah.
around that action, that
Yeah.
one singular action. Like
Because again, it's like, it's the most interesting thing, in my opinion, that Matt could have done is somehow facilitating Poindexter escaping from prison because he
Yeah.
knows he'll go to kill Fisk. But then again, it's like we don't have any proof of that, and then him jumping in front of the bullet seems to be exact proof in the opposite direction that Matt would never do such a thing. And so I'm left being like, did you do an interesting thing or did you not do an interesting thing? Like,
this is just I didn't watch season 3 of the original Daredevil question, but would Poindexter go immediately after Fisk?
oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Because he was working for Fisk
Mhm.
and Fisk hung him out to dry.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Yeah. A couple times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you must have told me that already, but I
Mhm.
just forgot.
Because in the finale, Poindexter actually comes to kill Fisk. And again, well, boy, I wish.
The hammer pulled you off.
So funny. No, so he comes to Fisk's apartment, and because he's already hung him out to dry, he's like pinning stuff on Poindexter, even though he hired him to be the fake Daredevil and to like do all of this stuff. So it's like he was doing it on purpose.
Right.
And so then he hung him out to dry, kind of, and he came to kill Fisk. But again, then Matt basically was cockblocked him from doing it because Matt arrived as well and was fighting Poindexter because Poindexter kept trying to kill Fisk. And then basically Matt was like, "You're going to prison." And I was like, that clearly doesn't work on him. So
I will say that it was, we certainly are talking about that scene. We're questioning it one way then and like a way that's not as excited as we're like, oh, what's going to happen next? We're more like, why did
what
that
is going to happen? Yeah.
Yeah. I'm still on board. This is not the least on board I've been.
No.
It was better than the last episode, I think.
Yeah.
5 and 6 still for me are we're like the pinnacle of this series so far. But I am interested to know the answer to the questions that we've been asking.
Yeah.
Like, I'm still particularly interested in Vanessa and her getting back to her former splendor while Fisk was gone. She obviously excelled when he was not around. So the fact that, I don't want to say the fact, but the idea that right now she is more back with him could indicate that she's just like using that instead of being standoffish about it. She's using that tool to get back to where she was. So it could just be her making that move for now, and then she will try to rid herself of Fisk later when she has a better opportunity to do so.
Yeah.
So that to me is interesting. If they don't do that, I'll be somewhat disappointed. I don't know anything about Vanessa in the comics. If they're going to pull that kind of stuff, but
the only like potentially alt thing I know about Vanessa is from Spider-Verse where she dies.
Sure.
So, because that's what I kind of couldn't decide if Poindexter was trying to kill Vanessa or Fisk. But it was going for Fisk. So
no, he's the whole thing about him is that he doesn't miss.
Yeah,
he's like Hawkeye in that way.
Yeah.
So he took his shot. Fisk is a large guy. He didn't hit him on accident.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, I don't know. I'm curious. We have just the one more.
Yep.
So I'm definitely interested to see what gets wrapped up, what questions they present to us that will carry on until the beginning of next season.
Yeah, the good news is they are already filming, and next season should be released around the same time next year.
Great.
So we shouldn't have like a huge gap because I've seen that horrible wig that Karen's wearing.
It's a fake wig.
It's
like
a
an
fake
obvious
wig. Yes,
wig.
it's an obvious. Karen is in disguise. Yeah. So yeah, we'll see. Like you said, one more, and then we will be doing Andor probably.
Yeah.
But they are coming out 3 at a time, so we'll probably stagger them a little.
Yeah.
Depending on what time of day they come out.
We definitely can't do all 3 in a night. If they're going to be releasing them at 9 fucking p.m., which is psychotic, we'll probably watch one and record one, and then I can edit one the next day and then maybe do the same thing. So if it's like, let's just use Wednesday as an example. If they're coming out on a Wednesday, we'll probably do one on Wednesday, one on Thursday, one on Friday.
I think they're Tuesdays still.
Then I guess Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and our episodes will probably come out Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
Yep.
As long as everything goes to schedule.
Yep. So definitely join us for that if you want. Other than that, like and subscribe. Let us know what you think. And we'll
where are you at with this season?
We don't get very many comments on these.
Yeah, this doesn't do numbers for the show, but maybe if there was more audience interaction, blaming you guys and not the shitty content.
It's not the content.
Certainly not the new host.
It's not this content. I think it's that content.
Sure.
I think it's the content we're making content about, if I'm being honest.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so we'll be there with Andor. Also, The Last of Us is starting this weekend. We will be doing that. The first episode is going to be one day late. But other than that, we should be on time for the rest of the run. So that's it. Bye.
Bye.